I like eggs. You probably like eggs, but lately, well, they've been in the news lately and it's getting to be a real bummer buying eggs. It's a real pain in the economic baking situation, if you know what I mean. Today, I'm testing 8 different egg alternatives with a cake recipe, a real simple vanilla cake. I figured this would be the best first test to see how each one behaves. I made the recipe with eggs and it turned out pretty well. It's not too sweet, good rise, great color, structure, and a delicious crumb. I gotta admit, my family kind of went to town on it. It's almost gone. But all I have to do to compare the others is just throw the flour, sugar, oil, milk, and whatever's pretending to be an egg. I have flax, chia, aquafaba, Greek yogurt, silken tofu, applesauce, banana, and this Bob's red milk egg replacer. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna make a double batch of the batter, split it up as evenly as possible, and add a different egg swap to each bowl, and then bake them into cupcakes, because it's easier to compare 8 small cakes than for me to eat 8 full-size ones. Plus my wife would kill me if I made 8 full-size cakes. Then I'm gonna rank them, not just on height or color or flavor or texture or structure, but really which one was overall the best and maybe even the easiest to use. Let's get started. I measured out all 8 egg alternatives, and for those still following at home, it's flax, chia, aquafaba, banana, applesauce, Greek yogurt, silken tofu, which yes, is totally different than regular tofu, and Bob's red milk egg replacer. And like a total overachiever, I prepped a full batch for each one, even though I only needed 1/8. You know, I had this idea that I might need more for a follow-up test, but in reality, I couldn't do the test because I ran out of bowls and kitchen space. But at least I could use it for the YouTube thumbnail. Yay, algorithm. Anyway, I mixed up the base batter. So dry ingredients go in first and then followed by the wet. I already tested the original recipe with eggs as a cupcake as well, and it turned out moist with a great crumb. And my daughter wanted strawberries and they were delicious. So I know this should work. But then came the math. Dividing the batter into 8 bowls wasn't as straightforward as I thought. Some stuck to the sides, some splashed out, but I did my best. The idea was to keep every variable the same, just swap out the egg for the alternative. I still think cupcakes was the way to go because I really wanted to minimize any variations, and this way I can bake it all at the same time. The less I have to deal with my temperamental oven, the better. Oh, the things we do for science. I added the proper amount of egg alternative to each batter, 1/8 to each bowl, and mixed it up. After that, I spooned the batter into the muffin tins or cupcake vessels. I filled them high, probably too high, and I popped them into the oven, baking them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. Now with the cupcakes out, and I let them cool for about 15 minutes, and I'll find out how they turned out. I'm gonna quickly taste them. I'm not gonna make you watch it. I'm gonna rate the crumb, moisture, and flavor, and then overall give you my final notes. All right, here's the thing. They all worked. Every cupcake came out moist and fully baked. But once I tasted them side by side, I kept noticing the same difference. The one made with real egg had a slightly drier, airier crumb. And I mean that in a good way. It felt light, like there was more lift. The rest, I mean, they were still good, but the crumb was a little tighter, which contributed to the overall moistness. As for ease of use, a few stood out. Aquafaba was the easiest. Open up a can of chickpeas and you're set. Greek yogurt and banana were also super convenient, especially since we usually have both on hand. And Bob's was easy too, just mix it with water. But it's a specialty item, so not everyone has that on hand. Same goes for flax and chia, but I don't think most people have flax on hand, and chia leaves those little black specks, something to think about. Applesauce should have been easy, but I had to make a trip just to get some, and it didn't wow me in the final bake. And lastly, silken tofu, which was a total hassle if I'm going to be completely honest. It was a bit hard to find, and then I had to blend it, and I ended up losing a bunch when it's blended into the actual container. So it's not worth the trouble. All right, so I've eaten a lot of muffins, and I'm gonna have a little more cake just so I get the sense of what it is that I'm comparing to. I never realized how important crumb is when it comes to a cake, but it's very prevalent when you use eggs. And I'm gonna give you my top 3 based on everything. The scoring, I can show it to you. It's a little nuts because some of it doesn't make sense. I literally put a question mark for color in the chia just because it's very prominent that there are chia seeds, and I ground this up. And for a vanilla cake, I just don't think it would work. My thought was to maybe do it for pancakes and cookies. This was a lot of work, so if you could subscribe or leave me a comment, that would be so appreciated. This was nuts. Just so many bowls and spoons and mixtures and math, a lot of math. Anyway, here are my top 3. As far as egg substitutes, I'm gonna have to say, in no particular order, but number 1 was Bob's Red Mill. It has potato starch, tapioca flour, baking soda, and psyllium husk, which sounds like a Star Wars character. But it had the best color, incredible rise. It does have a nutty flavor. You can't really smell the vanilla. But overall, this was great. And the thing is, though, it is a commercial product, so it can be quite expensive. So I'm gonna offer you 2 more. One, it's dairy-based. I thought the Greek yogurt had great rise and great color. And like you could sense that it was a vanilla cake. Let me just find which one's the Greek. Yeah, here. Yeah, so this was pretty good. The color was a little off, but I'm sure if you like baked it a little bit longer, I thought the rise really brought it in. And then lastly, I'm gonna give it to flaxseed. First off, flax seeds are excellent to have anyway. You can add them to granola, you can add them to your Greek yogurt for breakfast. They're a rich source of omega-3 fatty acids. But buy the whole flax seeds and then grind them up yourselves because they do degrade when you just buy the flax meal. But as far as like a vegan alternative, I think it had great rise, it had decent color, and look, the crumb in all of these kind of sucked, except for maybe this one. But even that out of 5, I only gave it a 3. The rest were like 2s and 1s. And I think I gave banana a 2.5. And the reason banana is not on it, even though it is probably something that you will have consistently in your kitchen, is that this smells like banana bread. So if you are baking a cake and you want it to be banana flavored, then yeah, a banana is a great egg alternative. But again, in summation, I would say, look, Bob's, and then honestly, close to it, Greek yogurt, and then flaxseed. This was really interesting. My thought was to do pancakes and cookies at some point, but like I said, it was a lot of work, so I appreciate you watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. So many muffins.